BMW is about to replace the 5 Series, and like they've done with the 7 Series, they'll also create an electric version called the i5. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it and show you some images of what the new cars could look like. Because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Buy, sell,
Carwow.
Let's start this video by talking about why I know there's a new 5 Series coming. It's because there's always going to be a new 5 Series. And there's been these spy shots, look. And photographers have picked this up in Germany. How do I know that's not the 7 Series? Well, BMW have already released pictures and video of the new 7 Series and i7. So it's not that. Also, they've just facelifted the 3 Series, so it can't be that either. It is the forthcoming 5 Series and i5. Just like the 7 Series, the 5 Series is going to follow the traditional saloon style 3-box design. So long bonnet, passenger compartment, and then a boot. Unlike the 7 Series though, it's not going to have some crazy silly DRL headlights and a massive grille. In fact, the grille is going to be quite small and conservative by modern BMW standards, much in the same way that they've done with the 3 Series. Unlike the 7 Series, obviously the 5 Series is not the flagship, it's the one below. And so it doesn't need to be all flashy and expensive looking, it needs to be a bit more conservative. As a result, the design of the car will be quite evolutionary. In fact, this is what I think it's going to look like. So the design is likely to be smoother, sleeker, a bit more aerodynamic than before, less fussy, so fewer creases and stuff like that. However, it will still have some traditional BMW cues, such as the classic Hofmeister kink in the rear window. Another classic BMW trait, well, it's become classic now, is for them to produce petrol and electric versions of the same platform. So unlike with Mercedes, when you'll have like EQS, which is a standalone electric car, and then the S-Class is a completely different platform, with BMW they like to make internal combustion engine and battery operated cars off the same structure. So like you have the i7, which is the same chassis as the 7 Series, and you have the i4, which is the same chassis as the 3 Series, and now the iX1, which is the same chassis as the X1. It's going to be the same with this 5 Series. And you'll have the i5 version, which is electric powered. Obviously, it makes sense for BMW to have an electric car that's 5 Series in size. If you think about it, Mercedes, they've got their EQE, but that is a standalone electric car, unlike the BMW. Also, Audi is working on its A6 e-tron. Once again, like the Mercedes, it's a bespoke electric car. So BMW needs a competitor, the i5. Now, if you're thinking about getting a new electric car and you want to compare all the different models and the savings that you can get on them, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below to go to Carwow. If you want to do that at a later date, just simply Google "Help Me Carwow" and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. However, to make sure that the i5 does look a bit different to the internal combustion engine 5 Series, it has a few different design elements. For instance, there's fewer vents about the place, less aggressive bumpers, and bits of silver and blue trim, which means i.e. electric, in BMW's world. As for the batteries, well, BMW has two options for this. So it could use the 80 kilowatt hour battery pack from the i4, or the 100 to 105 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is used in the iX and the i7. Now, if BMW goes for the bigger battery, then the car will probably have a range of around 400 miles. It's comparable to the longest range EQE, which is 394 miles on a full charge. And the Audi A6 e-tron, well, they haven't said how far that'll go on a full charge, but the concept version had a range of over 435 miles. So actually, in reality, when they made the production version, it will probably be about 400 miles, just like the BMW. Obviously, that figure of 400 miles is slightly more than you get from the same battery capacity in the i7 and the iX, because those vehicles are heavier and the i5 will be slightly lighter. So you get a bit more range out of it. Now, the flip side is true if they go for the smaller battery pack. You see, in the i4, the 8 kilowatt hour battery pack will deliver 360 miles of range, but the i5 will be slightly bigger, heavier, maybe less aerodynamic. So as a result, its range will probably be around 350 at best. As for the motors, well, you'll be able to get the same setup as you get in the i4. So there's a single motor version, which you get in the i440, which has 340 horsepower, drives the rear wheels only. And there's the dual motor version, which you get in the i4 M50, which puts out a combined 544 horsepower. So the i4 M50 does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, and it weighs in at 2.2 tons. The i5 will probably be a little bit heavier, so as a result, the dual motor version of that car will probably do 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds. Now, BMW is likely to do a high performance M60 version of the i5, which will use the same setup as the iX M60. That means two motors, which produce a combined 619 horsepower. Now the iX-M60 can do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, but then it does weigh over 2.6 tons. The i5 M60 would be lighter. In fact, BMW are probably going to benchmark it against the Mercedes-AMG EQE 53. So that has 626 horsepower and can do 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. And we all know that BMWs always seem to out-accelerate equivalent Mercedes, so you could be looking at 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds for the i5 M60. But what if you don't fancy an electric car? Well, don't worry, BMW has you covered with the normal 5 Series. So it'll be available with a choice of 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol and diesel engines and 3-litre straight-six petrol and diesel engines. There'll also be plug-in hybrid tech available, including the power system from the new 760e. So that's a 3-litre straight-six turbo petrol mated to an electric motor for a combined 571 horsepower. And this could replace the old M550i, which incidentally put out 530 horsepower. So what you might be losing in cylinders, you'll be gaining in outright power. Don't worry though, this doesn't mean that the V8 engine is dead for the 5 Series, because there's always the M5. And that's likely to use a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8 like the current car. In fact, here are some spy shots of the forthcoming M5 being tested. And if you look closely, you can see a sticker that says hybrid test vehicle. That means, yes, it's going to be a hybrid. What kind of hybrid? Well, probably use the same system as the forthcoming XM SUV. And that has a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8 with an electric motor, which produces a combined 650 horsepower and 800 Newton meters of torque. It's a normal hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid, like the Mercedes AMG E, whatever it's called, performance thingamajig. Now the forthcoming M5 is probably a long way off, because first of all, BMW needs to release the normal 5 Series and i5, and they're likely to arrive next year. And as BMW have done with the 7 Series and the i7 and the X1 and iX1, it will release both the internal combustion engine version and the electric car together. Shortly after that, BMW will release touring versions of the 5 Series and the i5. And this is what the touring i5 could look like. Now, if you want to be kept up to date with all the latest car news, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss a single upload. Finally, we come to the price. So the current generation 5 Series starts with the 520i, and the price of that is £42,000. However, the next generation of 5 Series will have a lot more tech on it, and because of that and the cost of living crisis, it's likely to be around the £50,000 mark for the entry-level model. Now, if you want the i5, electric cars are always more expensive, aren't they? And if you compare the price of the i4 to the entry-level 4 Series, it's £10,000 more, which means that the forthcoming i5 will start from around £60,000. If you want to go all in and have the top of the range version of the new 5 Series, the M5, you're going to be looking at around £120,000. That's a lot of money. Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know some other videos you'd like to see, and click on those windows there to watch some more videos. And if you click on that box there, you can go to Carwow and we will help you sell your car. Just upload some photos, give a brief description, and our dealers will bid on your car to make sure you get a great price for it. Thanks for watching.